Hey chat, today I'll be talking about video game cities and why they always suck. Without any further ado, let's...
You're quite hungry.
Ignore that. So, I think it's natural to start this video by talking about Skyrim's terrible capital, Solitude, which is really quite... What the... Leave me alone! Anyway, so, Solitude. It's, really small. The scale...
I feel quite hungry!
So, after some reflection, I must retract a statement I made earlier. Video game cities don't always suck. There are some absolutely fantastic ones I've explored in my time as a gamer, namely Yakuza's Kamurocho, The Witcher's Novigrad, and of course, Night City. They're these super dense and packed areas with stuff to see and do everywhere you look. They're not perfect, and they're certainly not comparable to a real city, but they're the best out of the bunch in my experience. So look, I don't usually make videos on the same game in quick succession like this. Check out my last KCD2 video. But I simply have to make an exception for Kingdom Come 2, and specifically for the highlight of its map, the city of Kuttenberg. But let us start from the beginning with my first time entering the city. To showcase how absolutely mind-blowing going to Kuttenberg was, I spent the first 15 to 20 hours of the game wandering from village to village, sleeping with the pigs, eating stale bread, and just generally struggling to get by. So please place yourself in my shoes upon my discovery of Kuttenberg. This ginormous city nestled away in the corner of the map. You literally can't even see it until you're right there. It is such a huge contrast from what you're used to exploring. For the majority of my playthrough, I thought Trotsky Castle is the big landmark of the game, but then we get possibly the largest, most detailed and densely packed city in all of gaming, with maybe the exception of Night City. While NC holds a very special place in my heart, I really can't decide which city I prefer because Kuttenberg is just as detailed, but it doesn't immediately stand out that way. For instance, most buildings are accessible here, and doing quests around the city enhances it by so much. Because you see, every quest NPC in Kuttenberg has their own unique home, and there are tons of NPCs in this city. So each time you do a new quest, you're exploring a new home you've never been to before, going through countless taverns and shops, and it makes the scale of this city so much more believable. You're never revisiting the same places in Kuttenberg, and I mean that literally. Every quest has you somewhere new, and even after 20-ish hours exploring it, I still haven't discovered everything, and instead I feel like I've barely scratched the surface of what it has to offer. Kuttenberg to me feels like what Skyrim cities wanted to be but didn't have the technology to achieve it. NPCs in that game all had their own homes too, but places like Whiterun and Solitude were far too small to feel realistic, especially with all the lore about them in the dialogue and books. Skyrim cities were made to sound a whole lot bigger than they actually were. Like, Whiterun is meant to be the trade hub of the country, yet it only has the occasional Khajiit caravan, and the entire city has like 10 buildings and 2 streets. How did we let them get away with this? Kuttenberg feels as big as you'd imagine though. It's like the culture capital of the game, with you getting mixed up with all sorts of crowds, from nobles to criminals, beggars, and just ordinary people. Going your entire playthrough from mainly talking to village peasants to now associating with rebel groups and guild swordsmen makes Kuttenberg feel so diverse and rich. And there are such cool interactions you can have within the city that make it feel that much more alive. There's usually a criminal in the pillory that you can actually speak to and humiliate. Actually, could we bring pillories back and put all my haters in it? That'd be pretty nifty. Plus, you constantly have these dynamic encounters with NPCs street fighting, people shouting on the streets, grocers calling you over to their shop. All of this frequent noise and activity holds your attention and distracts you from your objectives in a good way. After all the great games I've been playing in recent years, I don't know if I'd be able to go back to Ubisoft open world slop where NPCs just idly stand around, looping the same animation or waiting for you to come talk to them about a quest. We're at a point now where NPCs should be dynamic, they should feel like real people rather than binary code or whatever. And wow, the architecture and views you can get while in Kuttenberg are absolutely stunning. I mean, the visuals are consistently gorgeous no matter where you are in the game, but Kuttenberg has a bunch of these places of interest that are so distinct. I've even started using them as landmarks so I can travel without checking the map. Like this monastery or the market streets, all of which sell distinct things. Like you'll have a bunch of blacksmiths in one area, grocers in the other. You've got this super pretty and eye-catching church on the outskirts of town, and the tournament arena in this corner. This city is wonderfully designed, with each street having a distinct design and landmark, so you always know where you are. As much as I adore Night City, it is meant to be this dystopian mess that you can easily get lost in. After the hundreds of hours I've poured into Cyberpunk, I still have to check my map constantly. There's no way I'll be able to memorize its layout the same way. A video game city's biggest sin is to look the same wherever you are in it, making it boring and unmemorable to explore, but Kuttenberg definitely doesn't have that problem, despite it sticking to historical accuracy. And while it's not entirely to scale compared to the real-life reference, Kutner Horror, Kuttenberg feels so dense and kinetic because it follows the game dev technique of creating a smaller space with a ton of stuff within it, similar to how Yakuza do it. And the city grows as you progress through certain quests, namely the one where you help this lady transform this dump into a bathhouse, which you then have access to for the future. Quests can really enhance your game, and I encourage anyone who's also playing KCD2 for the first time to do everything it has to offer because of things like this. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was already one of my favorite games of all time, but once I dumped tens of hours into exploring and side questing around Kuttenberg, I can easily call it a top 5 game of all time. And even though I've been grinding the hell out of the content there, it blows my mind that I keep getting new side quests all the time. Plus, I haven't even started the Legacy of the Forge yet. Before I wrap this video up, here's a gentle reminder to consider liking and subscribing. I'm not going to threaten you as I usually do, but I would urge you to subscribe, otherwise you might have a little accident in the near future. That's all for today. See ya.